Pakistan cannot afford to use purely imported steel sleeves, so Pakistan built this super factory. They use the latest centrifugal casting technology and only use molten iron from scrap iron blocks as raw materials. It can produce steel sleeves with better quality than the sand casting solution. In this factory, you can see Pakistan's top production equipment. This is the steel sleeve production factory in the capital of Pakistan. This factory is just a processing workshop for steel sleeves. The next door is the real casting workshop for steel sleeves. All the sand casting rubber columns are replaced with automatic centrifuges. This not only improves the quality of the finished steel sleeves, but also increases the daily output of 1,000 to 10,000. In order to facilitate the removal of the cooled molten iron steel sleeves from the centrifuge, the release agent will be sprayed on the drum and a thin film will be formed on the inner wall of the drum. Then the side cover of the centrifugal drum will be tightened with bolts. The main purpose is to prevent the molten iron from overflowing. The rubber column cup is fitted with the rubber column mouth of the drum so that the molten iron can flow into the drum through the rubber column cup. The raw material of the steel bubble is recycled from scrap iron. The selected scrap iron is thrown into the furnace for melting. Products that fail the quality inspection are also rejected. After waiting for 749 minutes of heating in order to control the amount of molten iron required in the centrifugal drum, they will also use small glue containers for distribution. In this way, each worker can glue independently, and there is no need to worry about too much or too little molten iron backflow. After the centrifugal drum rotates at a high speed for 1 minute, the side cover can be loosened for demolding. Since a thick demolding agent is sprayed on the inner wall of the centrifugal drum, it is also very easy to remove this large steel sleeve. At this time, a thickened version of the blank is formed. After cooling overnight, rough processing is performed on it. After confirming the length of the steel sleeve, the cutting knife is directly used to cut at the mark. Then the wolf head is used to smash the scraps. Such a large cardboard is enough to see the size that needs to be cut. Since the surface of the steel sleeve after forming is very rough, it is necessary to turn the inner wall to at least ensure that the inner wall is flat and smooth. After the pin is completed, then measure the inner seam. After calculating the inner seam data for processing, the steel sleeve needs to be fixed at the bottom of the operating table. The steel sleeve needs to be elasticized with a steel elastic machine. The first round of turning is also to avoid damaging the blade of the tangang machine. It is just that big. The size of the tangang machine used must not be small. After the tangang is completed, the micrometer is used to measure the inner wall. After the measurement is correct, the inner wall of the steel sleeve is processed, then the rough surface of the steel sleeve is turned. Because the centrifugal glue column cannot control the thickness of the inner wall of the steel sleeve, the thickness of the turning pin on the surface of the steel sleeve is very high, which also leads to a long processing time for the outer wall. After the work is completed, the master will use a large oil gauge caliper to measure to ensure that there is no error in the length of the slot at the bottom of the steel sleeve. The fine blade head cancels the surface. Only the thickness of the steel sleeve can be adjusted again, which can make the surface finish of the steel sleeve leap. The steel sleeve processed this time is a wet steel sleeve. The surface processing is different from the traditional dry steel sleeve. The wet steel sleeve will be installed with a rubber seal ring on the surface. If the seal ring does not loosen, it can only rely on the groove on the surface of the steel sleeve. After confirming the groove depth, it is necessary to use a professional groove cutter to chamfer. The main purpose is to make the angle of the bottom of the groove more gentle so that it can be closely connected with the round. The right angle edge, like the color ring, is completely different. The outer layer of the entire steel sleeve has been processed. Because the inner wall of the steel sleeve does not meet the standard for use, Fu also needs to use a giant grinder to grind the inner wall into a mesh pattern. This step is also essential for each steel sleeve. The grinding before leaving the factory is also limited to steel sleeves. Because the steel and grinding of the newly installed sleeves are completed by the repair shop, the newly installed sleeves are finished products that can be used. The newly installed sleeves are just semi-finished products after leaving the factory. After the sleeve is ground, the inner diameter is measured with a micrometer. After confirmation, the sealing groove of the cross-section is canceled. A lathe tool is required for chamfering. Without measuring the groove depth, Fu can also process it very standardly. After all these steps are completed, the giant steel sleeve is ready. The factory will also use laser to engrave the brand pattern. This is a product made by a large factory. After wiping the surface with a sponge, the factory will also use special oil paper to wrap the steel sleeve. Then the wet steel sleeve made of scrap iron is ready. What do you think of the quality of the steel sleeve cast by the centrifuge?